Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Kia Seltos. Now, this is not just an all-new car, it's a new brand altogether. Kia's debut model has landed smack in the middle of the SUV segment, which is right now really the core of the market. So this is really an important car. This car will also establish the Kia brand, the Kia credentials, so it better be good out of the box. And we are here on this really dismal, gloomy day in Goa to drive this latest SUV and tell you what it's about. We've got a bit of a break from the rain, so let's quickly take a look at the design. Now, the first thing you'll notice or should notice is Kia's signature tiger nose grille. It's pinched in the middle and is a styling element found on every Kia car. And on the Seltos, the tiger nose is superbly highlighted with this chrome strip, which has a very premium knurled finish. In fact, the Seltos looks very upmarket with lots of rich detailing. The headlights with their projector lamps, DRLs extending across the nose and vertical fog lights look a bit too busy, but at night you won't miss this for anything else. The rear is a lot cleaner and the sculpted tailgate and scuff plates is a nice dose of SUV muscle. So is the interior as impressive as the exterior? I'm trying to find a bad bit inside the Seltos' cabin, and quite honestly, I can't really seem to spot one. I mean, everything I touch, feel, it's got a quality, premium feel and look to it. The dash top, the texture of the plastics over here, this leather finish, even the glossy black finishes, very high quality. Steering feel feels fantastic to hold. The buttons got a lovely tactile feel. And if there's something that sticks out, it's this, maybe this instrument binnacle, which just seems like it's been stuck on. But that's really subjective. The Seltos in this Tech Line GTX Plus spec is fully loaded, and by that I mean fully loaded with more features than any car in its class. You've got cool seats, a Bose sound system, wireless phone charging, and of course the must-have sunroof and lots more. And between the 10.25 touchscreen, 7-inch MID and steering controls, you can operate and access the wide array of functions. It's got some many class first features. It's got something like air quality index, which you can know the quality of air you're breathing inside the cabin. It's got the usual stuff which is now becoming standard. It's got connectivity. It's a connected car. It's got all the features which we'll get into a bit later, and of course even stuff like voice recognition. Let's try it out.
How can I help you?
What's the weather like today?
There will be thunderstorms with a high of 27 degrees.
It's going to be a wet test drive for sure. It's raining cats and dogs. There's been absolutely no let up in the rain. It's just been wet. So I'm going to tell you what the Seltos is like in the wet. Well, this car is really sure-footed, and I think it stems from a chassis which is very stiff. In fact, this car feels very European in its feel. It's got that tautness, that stiffness. It's fairly responsive. The steering could do with a little better feel, but honestly, for the kind of people who are going to buy this, it does the job. And what I really like is the ride and handling, the balance it's got. In fact, even the ride, it's not too firm, not too soft, suspension really well judged, and really top marks for Kia. I mean, probably I would say this is the best riding and handling Korean SUV I've driven yet. But it's not exceptionally agile and likes to be eased into corners rather than hustle through them. And it feels best driven a notch down. Now, Kia has launched the Seltos with 3 engines You've got a 1.5 petrol, you've got a 1.4 turbo petrol, and you've got a 1.5 diesel. Now all these engines come with a 6-speed manual as well as an automatic transmission. And it's not the same automatic transmission, each one gets a different kind of automatic. And totally there are 16 variants of the Seltos. So clearly what Kia wants to do, it wants to carpet bomb the mid-size SUV segment and offer some kind of variant at various price points. So I've started out with the 1.5 diesel mated to the 6-speed manual. Now this engine develops about 115 horsepower, which isn't terrific by class standards today. But this engine doesn't feel underpowered at all. In fact, this engine just blew me away with its refinement. It is so quiet, so smooth, and the power delivery also very linear, very tractable. It's got a really broad torque spread. Yes, there's that little bit of turbo lag, but it's very marginal. But once the engine starts pulling, once it gets into the meat of its power band, it'll pull and rev all the way to 5,000 RPM, which is really good for a diesel. In fact, this 1.5 diesel will be the staple engine of the group, powering a wide range of not only Kia but Hyundai models as well in the future. What you need to know is that this engine already meets BS6 standards, which in a way future-proofs it when the tougher emission norms kick in. Yes, the diesel with smooth performance and claimed fuel efficiency of 21 kilometers per litre is the practical choice and the one to pick if you are chauffeur-driven. So how does it feel sitting behind the driver? I'm in the back seat and, well, what can I say? There's far more space in here than I expected. Don't forget, this is a 4.3 meter long SUV. It's more in the Creta category. It's not full-blown like the Harrier and the Hector. It's not as big as those are. But even so, there's lots of space in here for 4 large adults. The legroom is terrific. Headroom is also great. Well, I'm not that tall, but even tall passengers won't have a problem because a little scoop over here so the head shouldn't brush against the headliner. The seats are comfy, a little short on thigh support over here, but otherwise a great view out. Large door pockets, you've got a place for your mobile over here, USB port, and this pretty cool AQI readout, so you know the quality of air inside the cabin. You've got a sun blind, and even the rear seat, it reclines a bit. Kia seem to have thought of everything. I've jumped into the 1.4 turbo petrol which has a 7-speed DCT. Now this version comes in the GT line trim. You've got these all black interiors, nice red leather stitching, so really a very sporty feel. This is the variant that puts the sports into the SUV, and not surprisingly, it's the most fun to drive. The GT line's GTX variant is also the one that gets a heads-up display which can be customized with what info you want displayed. Again, the HUD is a first in class. The 1.4 turbo petrol, yes, very strong. It's got that real lusty mid-range. It is quite smooth, but I have to say, both the engine and gearbox not quite as good as Volkswagen's TSI and DSG combo. But having said that, this is a very, very entertaining car to drive. What would have enhanced the fun factor even more are paddle shifts, but that's missing on this variant, and you have to make do with the lever the old-fashioned way. But having said that, it's pretty keen to downshift, and even from high revs, the gearbox plays ball. You have 2 sets of modes in this 1.4 turbo petrol. One controls the engine response and the other the level of traction for different surfaces. Now this gives you even greater control of the car. All new cars these days are coming with connected tech, and the Seltos 2 is packed with it. Now connected cars, that's the next big trend. every manufacturer is launching a sort of connected car, and the Kia Seltos is a connected car as well. Now, what does that mean? Basically, it means that there is a SIM inside the car, embedded in the car, which talks to the SIM in your phone, and that kind of throws up a whole lot of features. And you've got the Yuvo app over here, and with the Yuvo app, which is a proprietary app of Kia, you can do a whole lot of things. But the party trick I like the most is that you can start the car from your phone from the outside. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? And once I've got the car started, I can even switch on the AC and set the temperature. Now I'm standing outside over here, but you can do this from your office. So by the time you go down, your car is nice and cool. Not good for global warming, but definitely good for cooling the cabin. Now let's see how the concierge service works.
Good afternoon. My name is Ritu and I'm calling from Kia India. I understand that you have pressed the Go button inside your car. May I know which point of interest looking for?
Yeah, can you take me to Goa Airport, please? Can you send me the map to Goa Airport?
Sir, I check on my screen that there's a Goa International Airport. There's a Davoli, Marmo, Goa, 403-801 India. That is 26.439 kilometers from your current location.
Okay, great. Can you just send me the map, please?
Sure, sir, I'm sending. Sir, I send the link to your infotainment system. Please check.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Okay, sir. Is there anything else I may assist you with?
No, thank you very much. Now that's for lazy people who don't want to input a simple destination themselves. But there are some other useful features too. Well, with the Yuvo app, it's like Big Brother is watching you, because even from the comfort of your home, your office, or where I am right now, which is the lobby of the W Hotel in Vagator, I know exactly where my car is, what it's doing, how fast it's going, and whether it has exceeded a certain boundary or exceeded a certain time duration. So it's got geofencing, it's got time fencing, and it's got a lot of other cool features. Let's have a look. The app does a lot of things. It keeps a track of your service schedules, the health of your car, your driving data, how fast you've gone, and you can even select the destination you want to go to and push it to your car's navigation unit from your phone. It's genuinely hard to fault the Seltos, which does everything so right. If there's a fault, it's more to do with Kia's wonky strategy of not offering the topmost trim level in a variant like the 1.4 turbo petrol DCT. But otherwise, rarely have we seen a car that is so complete, so well-rounded, and so versatile. Okay, there's no four-wheel drive option, but other than that, it offers everything an SUV buyer could possibly want. The Seltos is the one SUV to buy if you can buy just one SUV. Kia's maiden product is an absolute winner.